just about a sellout for tomorrow's Scottish Premiership game against Livingston at Pittodrie. At long last, domestic football is back after the international break, and after a hugely exciting close to the transfer window, everybody is buzzing now for tomorrow's game against Livingston at Pittodrie. 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. If you can make it along, there are not many tickets left. And that is the task. It's very simple. We need to start getting points and goals on the board. Starting tomorrow. Let's go. How are we doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg AB TV this Friday night. We're back after a couple of weeks away. I really hope you enjoyed the review that I did with Terry McDermott, Richard Wilkinson and DJ Graham Park. The views have been absolutely fantastic and we had great feedback from it. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch that show. I really enjoyed doing it. And the general feedback and consensus is that that's the type of content that you want more. So going forward, we will look to do those type of shows. And the idea now is to start offering it as guests to those who are subscribers to Ali Beg AB TV, as in members. So if you are a member of Ali Beg AB TV and you would like to come on and have your say with fellow fans, drop me a wee note and we'll get it organised for the next one, which I'm hoping to do very soon. So, the preview show. That's what this is all about tonight. This is your opportunity to have your say ahead of tomorrow's game against Livingston. Tonight, we are hearing from the manager who gives us his thoughts on our 3 transfer signings on the deadline day. And we're also going to be speaking to a gentleman called Jim Thompson from the Scottish Football Programme and Memorabilia Fairs. And they have a fair on Sunday morning at Bonaccord Golf Club on Golf Road, which is just a drive, get me, from Pittodrie. So if you, like me, love your memorabilia, there are going to be a number of vendors there displaying memorabilia for you to buy if you so wish. It's free to get in and they're really hoping for a busy morning. So if you fancy it, anything from programs, old programs, scarves, pennants, pin badges, you name it. If you're into that sort of stuff, Sunday morning at the Bonaccord Golf Club, we'll be speaking to Jim a little bit later and he's going to tell you a little bit more about it. Right. I'm going to give you the team that I want to start tomorrow's game. And then you can feel free to absolutely pile on. I've changed the formation. Oh God, what am I doing? Brace yourselves. So, first things first, let me take you through the team. So, I'm going to introduce a couple of debuts. I'm putting in Jesper Karlsson. I'm also putting in Emmanuel Gyamfi to start. That is the team that I'm hoping will start tomorrow's game. It's the team that I want to play. So, while you hear from the manager, what I will do is I will put together the formation and I'll let you see it after we hear from the manager.
I think it's different. I think we have a start this season with the goal scoring, and we know Kevin, of course, his qualities and his position inside the box and his finishing, and also we already know how we play and his role in the team. So I think it's good to adding competition, but also someone who already have some know-how how we want to play. Jesper is a player I had before, but it's a long time ago now, and of course he has grown, but he has his qualities in around the box and set up other plays in good situation, but also a good finisher and a good assist maker. So I think he can add qualities and also be a good role model because we have some younger wingers now, and I think it's always good to have these different age groups and so you can learn from each other. And Stuart is a good, responsible football player. How he conduct himself. Of course, he's long time he play a game now, but he's done really well in the training session. You just need to be careful. So actually, with all these three players, how much in the beginning, so they can be with us now consistently in the first part of the season now until January. So step by step, get more and more game time, but they look ready and sharp.
So that's the thoughts from the manager. Before I give you the formation, just let me gently remind you that Ali Beg ABTV is sponsored and supported by Saltire Energy. They're the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, but not just that. Torquing, testing, refurbishment and welding is part of their makeup as well. Right, here you go. So, I'm going to go with a 4-3-3 formation. I now think that we've got the players for Jimmy to now start mixing it up. I don't think we need this formation of two holding midfielders at Pittodrie against a team with the greatest respect to Livingston. So that is the team, then the formation that I would like to see start tomorrow's game. The midfield three obviously need to be very aware of being more narrow and compact so that we don't leave too much space for Livingston to exploit through the middle. But that's what I'm looking at. Tell me what you think. Here are your match facts. So the Dons have lost their past 7 matches in the Scottish Premiership, conceding 17 goals and only scoring 2. We are, though, unbeaten in 3 league games against Livingston. In 5 league games against Livingston, winning 3, drawing 2. Livingston have lost their past 2 matches in the Scottish Premiership and could lose 3 on the bounce in the competition for the first time since January last year. So our referee tomorrow is Nick Walsh, and the man on VAR duty is Don Robertson. So this is what I think needs to be the tactical approach tomorrow. And this is where we have to be very careful that we do not get stretched through the middle by leaving big gaps between the midfield and defence. Hence why I was saying the midfield three to be more narrow and compact. Aim for strong midfield pressing to force turnovers. Leighton Clarkson has delivered 15 balls into the box over 3 games, but his pass accuracy at the moment needs to improve. It's only 62%. We need to raise the tempo in phases when winning the ball to catch Livingston off guard. I think personally we've been too slow through the transitions and we're not being penetrative enough. And we need to balance the attack with defensive discipline. So that's what I think we should be doing tomorrow. I have to admit, I cannot wait for 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to see the team that Jimmy has picked. I've already seen a few posts saying, oh, I don't know why I'm even saying this. Could you imagine if Nielsen, Yenge and the skipper were in the side? Right, where's my bins? Hang on, I need my bins. Right, let's get you on. Honestly, I'm buzzing for tomorrow's game. I can't wait. I can't wait. Right, hang on. Let me just bring that down. Okay, there we go. And I need to click on there so I can see what's going on. I need to pause that so I can see what's going on. Okay, where are we? Oh, lots of chat tonight. Excellent. Good. Welcome to you all. Right, Ryan Ellington says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Hopefully a win for the Dons and hopefully see the 3 new signings on the pitch. Johnny Wilson says, feeling positive. 3 points is a must tomorrow, and if Yimi utilises his very talented squad correctly, we're going to be just fine. David Horn is on wishing you a good evening. He says he can't wait for the game tomorrow. He's predicting a 2-0 win. David Gold Rally Vids also says hi. He says 3 points is a must tomorrow. Graham Gibbs says, hello everybody. My post-transfer deadline day euphoria is like a leaky balloon after JT's press conference. Suspect our newbies will be dripped in gradually. Do you know what? I know he said that in the grand scheme of things, but I do think he will start with Kevin, and I do think he'll start with Jesper. And I think he'll give them part of the game. I would be very surprised if Stuart Armstrong doesn't play his role at some point. He's not played much football, if anything at all. So that's why I can't see him starting. I can see Toppe coming on as well. So, yeah, let's see. But I take your point, Graham. Kirstein's on. How are we doing, Kirstein? She says, hello, Ali and fellow dandies. Looking forward to the game tomorrow and hopefully the first league win of the season. The musical box says, YouTube keeps hiding this and then notifying me after it's finished. Terribly sorry about that. I have no idea why. Adam Binney says, good evening all. Surely 3 points for us tomorrow. David McLennan says, squad looks decent on paper. Hopefully that can get turned into form and goals on the pitch. Barry Cool is here. How are we doing, Barry? He says, looking forward to seeing the team tomorrow. It's my birthday today and would love 3 points tomorrow. Barry, many happy returns, fella. Hope you've had a brilliant day and you've been spoilt rotten. Philip Palmer says, hope for the best for the new members of the team, but not sure they will play tomorrow after JT's press. Do you think he is lulling us all into a false sense of security with that press conference? Bit of reverse psychology. Musical Box is interested to see Armstrong, Carlton and Nisbet. Hopefully they will bring some end product. Well, we need the end product because at the moment, if you look at the stats, the XG rating and all that sort of stuff, we are not good. We're really not good. Goals conceded, not great. The way we concede goals, not good at all. Big chances missed, big chances created, not good. It's quite obvious. It's obvious to all of us where we need improving. And I think Jimmy now has the players at his disposal to be able to fill those much needed gaps. George Ewan said, let's hope it's a good game. Sheep on Fire says, good evening everybody. I've got a feeling we're going to hammer Livy tomorrow. Score 2 or 3. Graham Finlay to see you. Hi Graham. Been a long time since I felt this optimistic heading into a league game. Beating a stuffy Livingston is exactly what the players and manager need. Let's smash them and let's start climbing the table. Neil Strachan's here. How are we doing, Neil? He's predicting a 3-1 win for the Dons tomorrow with Kevin getting 2 and Stuart Armstrong to get on the goal sheet as the goal sheet, whatever you call it. Shut up, Ali. The musical box says, I thought for years that we should have signed Stuart Armstrong. Well, there you go, he's in. Him and I have something in common, as well as with Graham Shinney. We all played for Dice Boys Club. That's where I started my youth football, playing in the town. Dice Boys Club. At under 13 level, and played with them for about 2 years before I moved to Stonywood. And then I went back and played a season for Dice Juniors. Not just here to entertain, here to educate as well. Gary Farquhar says, good evening, dandies. Actually looking forward to the 2.5 hour drive up the road tomorrow instead of doom drive it was turning into. He's predicting a 4-0 win for the Dons. Oh, Kirsten came back to say, Ali, can you wish my partner Gordon a happy 50th today? He's watching. Gordon, very many happy returns on your very special day. How does it feel, fella? How does it feel? I was 53 a couple of weeks ago. I hope you've had an absolutely brilliant day, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. So happy birthday, Gordon. Stephen Anderson is here. How are we doing, Stephen? He says, good evening, 3 points tomorrow, please. Andy Wright quite simply says, tomorrow is a must win. No ifs, no buts. Andy, you are absolutely spot on. Barry's 54 today, by the way. God, we're all in our 50s here. What's going on? Philip Palmer says, sorry, meant to say the new guys. See what they can do and take them off once we're ahead in the game. Yeah, I can see that. Paul Donaldson is also here. He says, good evening, dandies. The winless run has to come to an end tomorrow. No excuses. Hopefully the international break will have given the team a bit of a chance in training to put right some of our mistakes. John Bleasdale's here. John, sorry, I saw your message, mate. He said that he toured Pittodrie today, going to the game tomorrow, looking forward to it. Think we will get the win we need and kick-start our season. Think Lazetic will start and score tomorrow. Interesting. John Grant is here from Spain. So he's going to miss the game tomorrow, but hopefully the Dons can kick on and start winning games. We certainly need to. I haven't a clue of the team or formation, so fingers crossed. Have a great time away, John. Look at you all wishing Barry a many happy returns for today. Hey, Barry, feeling the love, fella. Right. So, as I said at the top of the show, earlier today I spoke to a gentleman called Jim Thompson, who puts together this Scottish football programmes and memorabilia fair. It's fantastic. I've spoken to a couple of people that went to Pittodrie when it was last on a few years ago, about 3 years ago. This time on Sunday morning, it's at the Bonaccord Golf Club, so just round the corner from Pittodrie. And it's your opportunity, if you like to collect football memorabilia, to go along and see basically what's on offer. So Jim and I had a chat about it, what to expect. And we had a little chat about football programmes in general and if they are sadly becoming a dying breed. Welcome back to the show because it's been a wee while. Jim Thompson. Hi, Jim. It's really good to see you again. It's been a wee while. Are you keeping well?
I'm doing well, Ali. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's been 3 years, I think, since we last spoke. Last time I was at Pittodrie, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, I'm delighted to see that you're putting the fair back in Aberdeen. Not at Pittodrie this time, but down at the Bonaccord Golf Club, which is also a fantastic venue. So what's prompted you to go back to Aberdeen to do it again?
Really the success of the last one. It's as simple as that, Ali. The last time we were there, there was about 130 turned up at Pittodrie. We had a great day. This is a bit of a smaller event. The last time we had the 2 rooms. We've only got the 1 room now at the Bonaccord. But
okay.
Do you know, Aberdeen has such a rich collector base, if you like, in Scotland. A lot of Aberdeen fans collect pub programmes, memorabilia, and rightly so, you know, with the history that Aberdeen have. So it would be absolutely crazy not to come back to Aberdeen. It deserves its own football memorabilia fair, absolutely. And you know, it was easy. I'm just so sorry it's taken me 3 years to get back, but these things happen.
Of course.
So delighted to be coming back on Sunday.
You know, I saw the piece in the Times, Jim, by Michael Grant, which was a really interesting read, and it really made me think that Michael was onto something. And there is most definitely a fear that potentially we could lose what is a real mainstay of traditional football. Do you think we're close to losing matchday programmes?
Well, the demise of the matchday programme has been predicted for the last 20 years. It's still here. What we have now is a generation working in media departments of football clubs who have been brought up not on the printed word. They've been brought up in phones, social media, everything's instant. So the printed word is almost in itself something that's becoming extinct. You know, newspapers, for example, all these things. So the football programme naturally falls under that. It's certainly getting harder. It's certainly getting harder to keep it going. As I say, the media departments now have other aspects to get their information out to fans. Why bother going to the trouble of putting together this magazine, if you like, when you can put the team up on Instagram or whatever, and
Yeah.
people can access it straight away. What my argument is that in all the time that I've been in this hobby, and you speak to a football fan, because every football fan's a collector. I'm looking at you now, Ali. You've got your own collection as well. Now, it might not be to the same degree as some of the maniacs that are coming on Sunday to the football fair, and I say that in the nicest possible way. It might not be to that degree, but every football fan is a collector. Not one have I spoke to that said their favourite piece of memorabilia is a web page. Not one.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's a program, it's a
yeah.
scarf, and it's something that means something very close to them. Might not mean anything to anybody else that particular game. It might just be a run of the mill league game or whatever, but it might be the last game that person was at with a parent, the first ever game, the first one they ever took their child to. There's a million reasons why these things mean so much to people. And you know, I hope we never ever see them go. They're to me, they're social documents as well. They document not just the history of football in that community, but the community itself. So you'll see adverts for things that's happening in that community. And behind me, I've got my collection of programmes there for going back to the long time ago, just when the formation of Stirling Albion, my team. And you look at these programmes, and in there's adverts for businesses that no longer exist. There's commentary on what's going on in the community. We had the late great Bob Shankly as our manager in the 70s, and like his brother Bill at Liverpool, Bob wasn't backwards at coming forwards with opinions. And when you read back his notes in the 1970s of the programmes, and he talks about Scottish football and where it should be, and his perception of Scottish football, his views, it's amazing reading. And actually, it's no a million miles away from where we are. You know, his vision, that Shankly, you know, way of projecting his image was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And we are losing that to the kind of social media aspect of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and what you're saying completely resonates with me because when I wrote my European Nights book,
Yeah,
looking back through some of the old programs from the European games that we played in and contested, and reading the manager's notes and reading journalists' reports after the event was
yeah,
absolute gold for me to
yeah,
be able to put the structure of the book together. And I love the buzz of being able to find a program or a piece of memorabilia that I've always wanted. For example, my first ever game at Pittodrie, Aberdeen against Kilmarnock, way back in 1981. We unfortunately lost the original program,
yeah.
and then I was able to source it. And the buzz that I got from finding it was, I can't begin to tell you what the buzz was like. And I think what you're doing offers people that sort of buzz, which
Yeah.
makes me think for you, Jim, this must be a real labor of love.
Absolutely is. I edit the iconic programme monthly Football Collectible magazine. That was started over 40 years ago by the football historian John Lister.
Yeah.
It's now 1981, I think it was first published. It's still going all these years later. And the readership is smaller than what it was when John did, but it's still as passionate as it is, you know, as it was then. We're just a bit older. And just going back to that programme that you're talking about against Kilmarnock, that probably means nothing to anybody else, but
Mm,
that was your first game.
yeah.
So you probably picked it up for 30 pence, 50 pence, a pound, but it
Yeah.
means so much more to you. Isn't that fantastic? Everybody that was at Pittodrie the night they beat Bayern Munich in that European Cup run will have something of that game. It's iconic, that game, not just for Aberdeen history, but Scottish football history. Wouldn't it be a shame if it was if it just was put to a web page.
Yeah,
Oh,
I honestly I couldn't agree more. To actually hold something
fantastic,
physically, to have it
fantastic.
physically in your hand instead of something on a computer screen.
Yeah,
Honestly, I couldn't agree more with you. Jim, what can we expect from the fair? What can, if predominantly I know it's for football fans, but if
yeah.
predominantly Aberdeen fans come, what can they expect when they come through the doors?
Okay, so there's 7 vendors this one, 3 of which were never at Aberdeen the last time. So the good thing is we don't really know what they're going to bring. It might be a nice surprise, but
Yeah.
you'll be guaranteed to have programmes, pennants, badges, tickets. I think there's going to be a few shirts as well. From the Aberdeen perspective, that'll be right back to post-Second World War, all the European runs, all the
Oh wow.
cup runs will be covered. I'm quite sure the European run will have quite a few things there.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic it's a fantastic opportunity to grab yourself a piece of history. That's I always say that. If you're a collector, even if you're not a collector, if you're just a football fan, it doesn't cost you anything to come to these things. I don't charge. Come down and have a look. You might just find something that takes you back to being 8-year-old standing on the terraces at Pittodrie, and you'll think, I'm not a collector, but I'm having that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That reminds me of my dad. That reminds me of my brother. That reminds me of that game, that player. These things are great, and it's great to have conversations with other collectors and share It's a social event as much as it is a trade fair. So, as I say, 130 turned up the last time. I don't know how many is going to turn up this time. If we get any more, the golf club will be angry at me, I'm sure, on a Sunday morning. But you know what? I'd rather have that problem than nobody coming. So, yeah, please, if you're a football fan, an Aberdeen fan, Sunday morning, 10:30, Bonaccord Club, Golf Road, just a goal kick away for Pittodrie itself. Costs nothing to come in. You'll be more than welcome. It's a great way to spend a morning.
Brilliant. Jim, listen, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to see you as always. And the very best of luck on Sunday. And I really hope you get loads and loads of folk through the door. So have a great day, yeah?
Thanks, Ali. We'll get you at the next one.
Brilliant. Top man. Cheers, Jim.
Take care.
Ta-da, pal. Ta-da.
Cheers.
Thank you, Jim. Just a gentle reminder that Ali Beg ABTV is also brought to you and supported by Craig International, who are very much at the forefront of global procurement. And they just wanted to thank everybody who went along to the SPE Offshore Europe last week at the P&J Live, where they met some fantastic distributorships, vendors, and they had some very interesting meeting with a number of people who attended the exhibition last week. So they just wanted me to say to you, thank you so much. If you are heading to Pittodrie tomorrow, don't forget to pick up your copy of Red Match Day. So Jim and I were just discussing the importance of the Match Day programme and what it means, especially to sort of my generation. Malcolm Panton, who has been editing the programme now for going on 25 years, continues to be at the forefront of how good these programmes are and continues to win fantastic awards. Kevin Nisbet on the front. Ali Beg ABTV is also brought to you by Quipco International, who service the oil and gas industry. They're based in Abu Dhabi, so if you are in that part of the world and if you're looking for manufacturing repair services, my suggestion is you look at Quipco. They offer a number of services, and they're just a way to offer new services as well, which I will tell you about in the coming weeks. If you are in that part of the world and you're looking for these type of operational services, get in touch with them direct. Those are the details, or get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with them. Right, let's get back to your comments. Oh, I see. Lots of you on. Yeah, a lot of you are talking about the programmes. You know, Dunfermline recently scrapped theirs, sadly. Right, let me come back up to where we were before. Kilted Warriors here, wishing you all a good evening. Keith Shepherd said, a loss will really put a dark cloud over Aberdeen. No pressure. Graham Gibb is asking who my holding midfielder is. Look, I'm putting a deal in there just to sort of patrol it all. Because I want Leighton to be more effective. You saw the stat that I saw on him before. He needs to be more effective with his passing, particularly his passing accuracy. And I just think we need to open him up a little bit more. I think Ante is Ante. I think we know what we get from him. He's an engine. He needs to be strong. And I like Adil. I just like his creativity. That's why I'm going with the 3 in midfield tomorrow, because I think now we've got the players to do it, to get on the front foot, to really go at teams now. We've got very talented football players, and I don't like this holding midfield players. I don't like it at all. I think it defeats the purpose of football. I get it. Of course I get it. I understand it in the modern game. But I just think with the players that we've got now and the threat that we've now got, we need to start getting our players on the ball. Let's get Jesper on the ball quickly. Let's get Nicholas on the ball quickly. Let's start getting balls into the box for Kevin to swallow up and do what he does best. We start doing that, we're going to start winning football matches and win them comfortably. But we've got to get at teams. Crazy Vases here, how we doing, fella? He said, "Mon the Dons, time for an explosive performance." Paul Hurd says, "The players also need to show more discipline. Needless, cheap fouls that just breaks up any home tempo and players picking up bookings, then walking a tightrope." Yeah, it's a good point. Steve Cowie says, "We've got to score quickly, within the first 10 minutes hopefully, and then full throttle energy on the pitch." Could not agree more. Hugh Burns is here. How are we doing, Hugh? He says 3 points is an absolute necessity tomorrow, or else. Honestly, Hugh, mate, I'm with you. I am with you. Because Hugh says, he's just come back and he said, "If we don't win tomorrow, then the pressure starts to really ramp up on Yimmy. Dave can stand as firm as he wants, as he likes, but eventually he knows he's going to have to act. Let's hope it doesn't come to that." Paul Mathewson says, "Hopefully we keep 11 on the park. Let's get the season off and running." He's predicting 3-0 for the Dons. John Herms is here. He's saying, "Good evening, folks. Optimism abounds, and can't wait for the match." He's predicting 3-0. Sue says, "Need to play the whole 90. Some good football at times, but lack of consistency is killing us." Bruce Struthers says, "Big game tomorrow. Simply a win is a must. Start Nisbet and Armstrong," he says. Doug Smith makes a good point. He says, "Love especially the last 3 signings. The only problem is Yeti and his 4 to 5 changes every game. We need a settled team as soon as possible. The honeymoon period is over." Doug, you're spot on. We do need a settled 11. Graham Gibbs says, "Ali, in regards to Clarkson's stats, do you not think the low accuracy is due to him having to try the World Cup pass after our slow pedestrian build-up? Speeding it up would help immensely." Yes, mate, I absolutely agree with that. Sometimes I do think Leighton is guilty of trying to play a Hollywood pass when there's no need to do it. I think he's a magnificent talent. I really do. I love his creativity. But sometimes football just needs to be simple, and possession needs to be retained. Sometimes I have no issue with him trying it, but not overly trying it, if you catch my drift. Philip Palmer says, "If we play teams on the deck and fast, we can beat any team. Every team knows that once we start the high balls, we've run out of ideas, but a win against Livingston I can see coming." Barry Coles on the Black Forest Gatto. Oh, did it have candles? Right. A couple of last little things. So, don't forget, give us a wee like. Thank you for all your comments. It's very much appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe. We are roughly about 18 followers away from reaching 4,600, which again is another milestone here on the channel. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed or followed, as I prefer to call it, I'd be very grateful if you would please consider it. Now, I'm going to do something completely off the beaten track. Now, I don't know, because the reason I'm doing this is purely for promotional purposes. I have another YouTube channel. It's called The Accidental Pop Star, which is what I am and what I was. So I started this channel a few years ago, then I got sick and I had to put it on the back burner. But I've recently started dipping in again and giving a lot more content. And I've got some really interesting people that I'm going to be interviewing in the coming weeks to give you a feel for what I'm trying to do. And the reason that I've posted this and I'm going to show you is because, and I don't mean to drop names here, this is not what this is about, but a pal of mine is Kenny Thomas, who I got to know very well back in the day. And we've known each other now for going on 30 years. The soul singer, absolutely brilliant, Kenny. He's got a new album out. And what I've done is I've put a little clip together to show you the type of stuff that we chat about on the channel. So if you're into music and you're into sort of knowing a little bit more about what it's like to be in the industry, this might be for you. So Kenny is 57 today. And this is a little clip that I put together earlier of me and him chatting. I remember meeting you for the first time. I've never forgotten it, Kenny. We got booked to do the Radio 1 Roadshow in Blackpool.
Right.
And we got the list of artists that were going to be on, and you were there. Yeah. And I was really, really excited to meet you.
Yeah.
I was slightly embarrassed to meet you because I felt that I didn't belong in that way where I was meeting my peers, because I knew the background that I had come from. So I was always quite embarrassed and a little bit shy to meet you guys. But what struck me about you was your complete and utter normality, and how so normal and down to earth you were. And I was immediately attracted to that. Do you think, Kenny, that came from your humble beginnings, which you've mentioned before, and how important it was that you remained true to yourself throughout this period?
Well, it was good meeting you back then too, man. You know, and thank you for saying that. I mean, no, it is something that's important to me to remain as normal as possible. In saying that, there's a very few little places in the 90s where you start to believe your own nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
Because you've got enough people stroking your ego and enough going on at the record company, you suddenly begin to believe that you might actually be responsible for your success, when you realise it's a whole lot of different things that come in and that factor into it, and a lot of luck, you know, a lot of timing. But anyway, I think that being myself was really important. I think also because my younger life, I'm talking about from the age of 5 really onwards, there's been a fair bit of bereavement and loss, and that's something that's marked my life all the way through, by the way, right to now. Yeah. Losing friends very young, losing family very young. So even at the age of 5, when I had my first kind of major taste of bereavement, I realised that things are transient. They're transient, they're passing, they're short-lived, and you blink and it can be over.
Yeah.
So I think that I was very acutely aware while I was having the hits and I was doing the Top of the Pops and jetting here and travelling there and what have you, in some of the best hotels and the biggest TV shows and all the rest of that malarkey, I was aware that it has a sell-by date, and it has a period where it ends.
So that was just a little feel for what I do with pop stars on my other YouTube channel, The Accidental Pop Star. So if you're into all of that, I'd be absolutely thrilled, again, if you would consider following the channel and following the social media channels as well. Right, guys, we are all done. I think there was 1 or 2 little snippets that came in. Adam Binney says, was boy bands really music? Oh, dear. So, all that's left to say, as we always do on a Friday night at this juncture, is to wish the lads the very best of luck tomorrow. Honestly, I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it. I was so flattened by the Falkirk defeat. I didn't know what to do with myself, I got to be honest. But now, after the window and deadline day, I think it's hugely exciting. I cannot wait for tomorrow. So the very best of luck to the lads. Just to let you know that the review show will be on Monday night. Andrew Budge can't make it tomorrow because he's got a prior engagement. So we're going to record his segment and take a closer look back at the Livingston game on Monday afternoon. So we'll put the show out on Monday night, so not on Sunday. on Monday night. Right, guys, gosh, we've done nearly 40 minutes. Have a fantastic weekend. If you're going to the game tomorrow, have a brilliant time, safe travels, and I'll see you all again on Monday. Take care. Thanks for now. Stand free.